from what their accomplishments were for last year.
Assuming
People were saying it was wrong.
Well, we'll let them be here for a full year first. And
Okay, that
And
makes
it's
sense.
me too. That's fine. She's good.
there's different categories, there's like cuddliness.
Yeah.
Ready? Call to order, Pledge of Allegiance.
Yes.
Pledge of Allegiance. Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Good.
Trustee Sell?
Here.
Trustee Unger?
Here.
Trustee Peckmeyer?
Here.
Trustee McFall?
Here.
Trustee Olet?
Here.
President Zaborowski?
Here, thank you. Looking for approval of minutes of regular board meeting, August 5th, 2025.
Like to make a motion for the village board to approve the regular board meeting minutes of August 5th, 2025, as we've all had a chance to review them prior to the meeting.
Second the motion?
Any discussion at all?
I was fine with them.
All right, so roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Peckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zaborowski?
Aye, thanks. All right, item 5, new communications, A 25-08, proclamation P 2025-13, proclaiming September 3rd, 2025 as Rachel Geitman Day in the Village of Greendale in recognition of being named the 2025 Spirit of Greendale representative. Congratulations. I'll read it first. I'll read it first. Yeah, it's a long one. All right. Whereas Rachel Geitman moved to Greendale in 2015 and has been an active and dedicated member of the community ever since. And whereas Mrs. Geitman has served as a valued member of the Public Celebrations Committee since 2019. And whereas she currently serves as the co-chairperson of the Village Beloved 4th of July Parade, ensuring this cherished tradition continues to bring joy to residents and visitors alike. And whereas Mrs. Geitman founded and serves as chairperson for the sensory-friendly events in Greendale, including trick-or-treating, Visit with Santa, the annual tree lighting, and the Easter egg hunt, making these community celebrations more inclusive and welcoming for all. And whereas she generously gives her time to the Canterbury Girl Scout Troop 3778, serving as cookie captain and helping to foster leadership, friendship, and community spirit among local youth. And whereas Mrs. Geitman's dedication, creativity, and passion for volunteerism embody the spirit of Greendale and has positively impacted countless residents and families. Now therefore be it resolved that I hereby proclaim September 3rd, 2025 as Rachel Geitman Day in the Village of Greendale in recognition of her years of service and leadership and commitment to making Greendale a better place for everybody. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Rachel.
That's a great one.
Got Tiggy photobombing it.
Congratulations, Rachel.
Congratulations. There's no bees on it.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, go ahead. Kelly.
Can I just say something in reference to Rachel's accomplishment? She does the whole 4th of July parade. She secures all the acts, takes a whole year. Amy Oyen then helps and does a lot for the day of the parade, but Rachel's the background person. She started these sensory events, and I wasn't able to help the first year, and then last year I was able to help with the Visit Santa event, and it was quite emotional to see the 75 kids that came in all levels of, mentally handicapped kids. Some very extreme, and these parents and grandparents just thrilled to have a place, and they could get a picture with Santa, and it was a really emotional experience, and she's doing that for more and more events so these kids can be included in some of the celebrations that we have for the other kids in the village.
I was at the Halloween event, and that was the same thing. It was awesome, and so many people appreciated it. Thank you, Rachel.
Very cool.
Yes, thank you. All right. Citizens' comments, persons wishing to address the board are asked to state their name and address of residency for the record and limit their comments to only one time and limit their comments to 3 minutes or 5 minutes if representing a group of persons. Citizens' comments shall be limited to a period not to exceed 30 minutes. Public comments should be addressed to the village board as a body. Any questions or comments directed to any individual trustee or staff person will be deemed out of order. Please note the village board can only discuss matters listed on the agenda. It is open.
Jeff Birmingham, 5601 Bramble Court. I want to talk about the bikes in the village and all that stuff that's been talked about. I just want you to know that it isn't all that bad. I've had several kids. One kid stopped by me and said, "Just so you know, there's 3 more bikes coming." I was amazed. And another kid stopped and he said, "Isn't it a lovely day?" I was amazed. I think the parents in Greendale are doing an excellent job. I really believe that. Also, I talked to the rec department, and I'm working on having classes for kids how to ride scooters, how to ride on bike lanes, and all that stuff. I believe the ordinance says that when you do ride a scooter and you're coming up to somebody, you have to have a bell, you have to ring a bell, and you have to tell them you're passing them. I don't think any of these kids know that. I don't think they're all just breaking the rules. They just don't know the rules. And that's why I want to have classes for kids to do that. And I think a good way to get the kids to go to these classes, they should have a license, just like they used to do. You had to have a bike license to be in Greendale. It cost $1. Part of that bike license should be they have to go to a class, and they have to learn how to ride the bikes. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? See none, I will close it. Standing committee reports, trustee Barbian.
Thank you, President Zabrowski. A couple of items on the Finance Committee. First one is discussing necessary action regarding resolution updating the village fee schedule. You going to take that?
Yep, so at a recent meeting, the village board approved a new agreement with E-Plan Exam to take over commercial plan reviews for the village. So this has previously been done just at the state level for commercial building projects. And we're applying for full delegation to give the village the ability to contract out locally and have that done by E-Plan Exam, which allows us to have a little bit more control in the process, allows for a quicker turnaround, and allows the village to recoup at least a small portion of fees at 10%. And so to go with that, we now need to adopt fees into our fee schedule of what those plan reviews would cost. And so included in E-Plan Exam's proposed agreement, they had a list of fees that they would propose that we would adopt. They're a little bit higher than the state's fees, but they are on par with what other municipalities have. The state has not regularly updated their fees. I don't think they've updated their fees since 2018. So it's an acceptable fee amount compared to what other municipalities have and what E-Plan Exam and municipalities charge in other municipalities. And so the proposed fee schedule and resolution in your packet would adopt that same fee schedule that was in the E-Plan Exam agreement.
I'll get to discussion. I'm going to make, Finance Committee is making a motion for the board to approve a resolution updating the fee schedule as presented by the manager.
Second the motion?
Opening for discussion. Quick question, Mike, when you're saying, just to clarify for people, similar to the municipalities, are you talking about the surrounding municipalities with us? Our fee schedule will be similar to Franklin, Greenfield, which is the
Statewide.
statewide?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going off of what Paul, our Director of Inspection, says, and E-Plan Exam, that these are in line. This is what they have charged in other municipalities that contract with E-Plan Exam, which is, I don't know off the top of my head, it's maybe 30 or more municipalities that contract with E-Plan Exam. So I didn't look at Franklin or Greenfield specifically.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering, because I wanted to just be similar to what's around. It's the only question I had necessarily. Trustee Olet?
Yes, I would like Jason's opinion on that.
I think it's a great idea,
You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
because this way we're getting something where before we would literally get nothing. if it
Right,
was the
okay.
state.
That's what I was thinking.
Did that answer your question?
Yes.
Anybody else? I would ask for a roll call on this then.
Trustee Barbian,
Affirmative?
trustee Sell.
Aye.
Trustee Unger,
Aye.
trustee Peckmeyer,
Aye.
trustee McFall,
Aye.
trustee Olet,
Aye.
President Zebrowski.
Next item on the list is for the Finance Committee's discussion, necessary action regarding the bids for the 2026 sewer televising program, FC 2531. Rod?
Good evening.
Yours.
So as part of the annual maintenance of the village's sanitary and storm sewer systems, a request for bid was issued to clean and televise the existing sanitary and storm sewer segments along the roadway to be rehabilitated as part of the 2026 Street Utilities Program. 3 bids were received. Aqualis Company at $29,997.10, Visus Sewer at $63,059, Badger Daylight Corporation, $109,835. We believe the above bids were competitive and submitted in good faith, and we ask the board to recommend the bid of $29,997.10 to Aqualis Company for next year's project.
I'll make a motion for it, then I'll get to you. Finance Committee is recommending to the board to approve the bid from Aqualis Company, the amount of $29,997.10.
Second.
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 Okay.
Um,
Also for questions.
I'm just can't believe it's such a difference. I mean, what
Yeah.
are we missing?
Nothing. The other 2 companies were literally flooded with work, and they just basically said they're gonna shoot something out that's ridiculous and see
Okay.
if it bites.
Because I'm like, it doesn't make sense.
Visus Sewer usually is in the village and does the televising and
Okay.
cleaning of our laterals, but yeah, everybody was pretty booked. So.
Yes, that's something.
It's
Good.
definitely a good
Reason.
price.
It looks like it compared to the others.
Yeah.
We don't know.
What did you have budgeted for it? Or what were you thinking it was gonna be?
I didn't have anything budgeted
Okay.
for it. It's just usually an annual thing that we do through the sanitary and storm sewer. Prices have increased. Usually we don't actually have to take it to the board because it's actually below $20,000, so we just move forward with it as part of the street utility project, but prices have increased so much.
This company you've worked with before.
I've not worked with Aqualis before, no. Usually Visus Sewer is usually who has been in the village, but I'm sure they'll do a good job.
Trustee McFall.
Is this something that we should put in the budget for next year? Or is it safe being through water and sewer, the rates and stuff like that?
Yeah,
If we know the price is gonna keep going up like that.
well, this is paid by the sewer utility as far as ongoing expenses, so we don't have a specific line item budget for the sewer utility for these types of things. It's just something that we account for in our annual review of the maintenance costs, and then we have to review with Ellers, as far as how our rates are effective in covering the costs, so.
Okay,
Good question.
just ask.
Any other questions in regards to this item? Thank you for the update.
Yeah.
I'll ask for a roll call.
Trustee Barbian,
Aye.
trustee Sell.
Aye.
Trustee Unger,
Aye.
trustee Peckmeyer,
Aye.
trustee McFall,
Aye.
trustee Olet,
Aye.
President Zebrowski.
Aye, thank you. All right, any-
Ironically, that concludes the Finance Committee that quickly tonight.
That's the easy one. Any committees have any reports this evening?
I do.
I'll go
Start
on.
with you.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir. Trustee Barbian.
Board of Health updates. Some of the downtown market vendors and Children's Garden have donated free fresh produce for support of those in need. That's really neat. And you may be able to notice those down at the markets. Hopefully you're all attending them. The produce will be available in the walkway between the library and health departments until it's gone. Feel free to stop by and grab some produce and some other resources and information that the health department will have available over there. The health department worked with the Salvation Army and DPW to secure some flood cleanup kits. DPW was able to distribute them on their route the last couple of days. Those were very productive as Greendale was hit pretty hard with the floods. I'm sure all of us were impacted. If residents have questions about flood cleanup or additional resources might be available, they can give the health department a call. Health department is also still involved with everything that needs to be done. People walk in for radon tests yet you can still do, or informational packets. And again, they're heavily involved with the markets on every Saturday. And so they're always willing to be involved with every project that's needed, and they still could use some volunteers for some of their committees that they have and projects that they're doing. So please feel free to reach out and help. That's all. Did you have something, Community Alliance?
I have library and children's garden.
Okay, then I'm done.
Matt, do you have any?
No.
Okay, all right.
So I'll start with the library. The Friends of the Library brought in $862 at their annual Village Days used book sale. The Friends also voted to approve covering the $1,300 cost for a new youth activity wall module replacement in the children's area. At the last meeting, the library board conducted its election of library board officers, and the slate of officers is the same for the next year. Corinne D'Amato as president, Rob Kableska vice president, Sada Zam as treasurer, and myself as liaison to the Friends of the Greendale Public Library. And I handed out to all of you the Cozy Mystery Fundraiser registration form. This was in the CLC guide that was mailed to all the homes in Greendale. This fundraiser is taking place Saturday, October 11th, from 5 to 7 at the library. Space is limited, so be sure to register early. Here are some extras for anyone who might want one. Should I move on to Children's Garden? Okay. The Children's Garden Committee met last week. A $500 gift was shared with the new Daffodil Park Planning Committee. Committee members attended the garden party in memory of Al Emmons on August 9th, and copies of the Very Hungry Caterpillar book in his memory were given out to children at that event. And additional copies will be given out to children in the coming weeks. On August 27th, committee members will partner with the health department at the Memory Cafe to participate in activities and share garden produce. The Children's Garden will be participating in the Fresh and Fit Fest, which is taking place during the downtown market on September 21st. Please stop by for some fresh salsa and a free water bottle. And so far this season, 166 pounds of produce has been harvested and donated mostly to the senior club. That's all. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
Just have a question.
Yes.
For the event,
Mhm.
it's a fundraiser, if you can't make it for some reason, is there a way you can just donate anyway to the library
You can always make a donation to the Friends of the Library.
online?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, I have here the Friends of the Library is giving out these bookmarks. So when you check out a book at the library, there's this QR code, and there's a way to donate just by scanning this QR code. So, yeah, that's another way to.
Oh, nice idea.
Yeah, I'll take one of those.
Okay.
Can you donate directly just to the library? Or
Yep,
does it
yeah,
all
you
go
can,
to-
you can donate to the library. You can make a donation to the library or to the Friends. Yep.
Is it the same thing or is it different?
What's different?
They're different, but the Friends is a separate organization that just does fundraisers, but there are people who make regular donations directly through the library. That would be a good question for Director Van Klooster, but he's out of the country right now.
Interesting, all right, thank you.
Yep.
All right, any other, Trustee McFall?
Yeah, we did not have a meeting last week. It was canceled at the last minute. Somebody had a family emergency, so Ryan was nice enough to give me some updates for the year 2024 to 2025 fiscal year. Park and Rec came in at 34,000 in the plus over the budgeted bottom line. So that was great news. The fall CLC education and recreation guide was delivered to residents this past week. I'm sure each one of you got one in the mail. Additional copies will be available at our office next week. Park and Rec registration begins online for residents on Saturday, September 6th at 8 a.m. You don't need to know that. The huge summer adventure club, I mean, unbelievable, the numbers. I could read them off here, but the attendance is just, like I said, unbelievable how many kids are going through his program. The field trips went really well. There again, Ryan's got trips going to, there was Conkle Park, and then they had a movie, the County Zoo, that was 2 days. It's the Weiberg Aquatic Center and Browns Lake in Burlington. All those trips were filled. And the new playground, Canterbury PTO raised money for the new K-5 playground. The existing playground was removed by the Greendale School District staff after using DPW equipment. Lee Recreation will be installing the new playground in late August and early September. So that's it for Park and Rec. And then as of just a little something about the Public Works, hats off to them. I mean, we all know what happened this past week, unbelievable. And then also to our fire department, our police department, helping out and everything. I mean, it was just craziness. So, but there again, guys from Public Works, I mean, they're out every day picking up stuff in front of people's houses and everything. So, Rod kept the dump open. So again, kudos to that department. So that's it.
I echo what you say. They're still literally every day
I know.
still picking up garbage and doing everything. It's been crazy.
And we have a PCC
Yep.
update too. We had a meeting. We reviewed the events and approved the ones that are on the schedule, on the agenda tonight. And we also had discussion on all of the 4 events that we do, 4 plus the sensory events: Garden Walk, 4th of July Parade and Fireworks, tree lighting, and Dickens of a Village. The tree lighting and Dickens are in process of being planned. We're looking to do a little earlier fundraising for the parade sponsorships, just because everything keeps going up, and it's hard, we don't want to really raise the budget too much, but we still want a good parade, so we're going to be trying to get sponsorships earlier on for the parade. And we're also looking for sponsors for holiday lights and Dickens.
All right, awesome. Thank you, guys. All right, on to old business. No board and committee appointments, right? For board and committees, I don't believe. Next, item B, BOT 2573, discussion necessary action regarding an ordinance to permit beekeeping in the Village of Greendale. Placed on the agenda, request of Trustee Ouellette and Trustee Barbian.
So this item was tabled back in the July 15th meeting. There's a couple things requested. One, there were a few board members who wanted to look at doing an annual permit, so we did adjust the language. It's in track changes, so you can see the old language and the new language, and it would be on the same cycle as our other permits and licenses. We also spoke with a few of the municipalities that have this, just kind of see if they've had any problems or issues. So Fox Point currently doesn't have anybody who's pulled a permit. Bayside has a few. They have not had no problems. Shorewood originally had 8 people. Now they're down to 3. They said they have not run into any issues. Milwaukee has 5 active permits and they have no issues. Greenfield, because of their switch with their health department, we didn't quite hear back yet, but we don't think they've had any issues either. And then lastly, we talked about what would that permit application look like, so we didn't want to spend a lot of time creating it, so we attached a couple from other municipalities, just kind of see what they request for those applications. Any questions?
Any questions?
No, I appreciate you looking into all this stuff, Sarah. the basic thing is what I was looking for. The other communities that have allowed this, they haven't experienced any complaints to speak of. And like I said, I've had a couple of people, and Donna, you can jump in after I'm done here, but I've had a couple of people that say they would like to raise them in Greendale. I don't know that they really will, because I've done a lot of research on it, as we all have. It's a lot of work. I don't think the people necessarily know that. But I think helping the environment and the bees pollinate and that stuff, it's something that we should look at. So I appreciate all your effort.
I mean, I am for beekeeping also, but I do think that having the permission from neighbors is really important, and that's in there. I also, I was rethinking it when I saw that the survey was on here. I don't know if it's worth waiting for the survey just to see what the general public and all of our residents do feel about it, instead of us just making that decision. I don't know. When will we be doing the survey? Do you know when the?
Right now, kind of early September through October 15th.
I mean, I think we're so close. It's like, why not throw that question out there and just, and again, I don't think that there is going to be a lot of people. It is a lot of work. It's expensive, that would do it, but I wouldn't mind putting it out there on the survey if everyone would want to do that, just to see what the feedback is.
I'd be willing to table this until then.
What do you think?
Trustee Beckmeyer?
I talked to a lot of people, locals, neighbors and whatever about it, and nobody seemed to have a problem with it, but I would feel a little hypocritical voting for this, because I voted for No Mow May to save the native bees, and if you look online, I pulled one of the articles up, honeybees can displace or negatively impact other bee species, particularly native bees, due to their competitive foraging habits and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, well, voted to help the native bees, and now we're voting to do something that could hurt the native bees. So that's kind of where I'm coming from at this point. The people I talked to didn't seem to care like they did with the chickens. Everybody talked to with chickens was not happy about that. So.
And I don't think, yes, I've read that a lot too, but that would be a massive amount of beekeepers. Having one or two sporadically through the village, I do not think would have that effect on our bees.
I think it would affect your neighbors. I have a lot of bees in my area because I have butterfly, a lot of butterfly flowers, so it attracts a ton of bees. So if my neighbor had honeybees, then it would affect my area anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Trustee Unger?
I don't think there's going to be too many people who will take this on, but thank you for providing the application. I think an application that includes, or somehow where we include notifying the neighbors is important. And Greenfields, they're looking for a sketch. And I would just like to suggest adding up here, if we were to follow this format, if we approve this, to include a drawing of the flyway barrier. Since we're requiring a flyway barrier, maybe that wording should be included in this sketch page if we include that on an application.
How long is the permit good for?
It would be a year, so every year they'd have to renew
And then
it.
they have to renew it every year?
Sir, I do want to ask, when I talked with Paul about this, he said he would highly be against it if it was a renewing permit, and that he really only wanted it to be a one-time permit. Did he change on where he was with that?
I don't think so. I mean, our staff recommendation was just to do a one-time permit, but, there was some concern about making sure it got renewed and checked on every year, so.
So I guess want to share that building inspector shared with me. It would really suck if he had to do that.
I don't think there's going to be too many people taking on bees.
Right.
And then, if you remember, when I mentioned an annual permit, I said we can see how it goes. If it's, 50 people who want bees, that I could see being a lot for staff. One or two, I don't think will be a lot of work. And I'm not asking that he inspect every year. I'm just saying that the permit should be renewed every year. That's where I'm coming from.
And that's his main concern, is he's like, going out and inspecting every year, he just doesn't think will be worthwhile or worth his time, but it sounds like that's not what we're talking about.
Sounds like he's scared of bees.
That's what he said. He goes, do I have to put like a bee suit on?
Yeah, like I was gonna ask, does he know?
What to look for?
Yeah, I mean.
Did they
it's a
have
very
bees in
specialized
Wauwatosa?
thing. I feel like it's very specialized.
Yeah.
Do we have to budget
You have to
for
watch a lot of YouTube
beekeeper
tutorials.
suit? The flogger?
A bee suit.
Okay. Anybody else? So it sounds like you want to table it and do a survey?
What does everyone think?
I don't think it needs to be included on the survey myself. But that's just me.
We'll take a vote.
I kind of agree. I don't know that
Okay.
I want to waste one of our questions on that.
I just have one question. So they need to notify the neighbors, not get permission from the neighbors?
I think the way it's written, we notify the neighbors, and then they would
They
have
can
to
object.
contact us if they were against it to initiate the process.
The neighbors in Greendale never do. They don't want to make trouble with neighbors, so.
I think if you're
It's
allergic
always
to
a-
bees, though, you might.
But
If you're allergic
Yeah.
to bees, there might be a thing you do object to. I would.
Yeah, then we'd have to look
I
at
would
that.
object to bees. I will say that I knew a gentleman that did do bees, he had big property up north, big farmland, so it wasn't around anybody, but he did it for 2 years and quit because it was too much work. Huge responsibility.
Should I make a motion?
You make it.
Okay, I'll move to approve the proposed ordinance subject to final review by the village attorney and approval of a permit fee to establish at a future, a meeting, yeah.
What was that?
I move to approve the proposed ordinance subject to final review by the village attorney and approval of a permit fee to be established at a future meeting, that's what it says under the beekeeping.
We just decided on that part, right?
What's that?
So where's their motion?
This is the
Permit.
motion.
Yeah. It's a permit fee, we decided it's gonna be a year.
Well, yeah, but we need to come back and update the fee schedule to put the fee on it.
Oh, okay. I'll second it.
Okay.
All right, any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbeau?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
No,
Trustee McFall?
No.
Trustee Olet?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye. All right. All right, item 10, new business, item A, BOT 2584, preliminary 2026 budget work session and setting the 2026 budget calendar.
All right, as we usually do this time of the year, we have just a very introductory discussion about the coming year budget process. So in your packet is a memo that highlights some of the kind of general themes that we will be discussing, as well as covers a timeline or proposed timeline that we should discuss and kind of nail down tonight. Some of the key considerations for the 2026 budget, so our property tax levy is showing a net new construction of 0.17% from the last year, which will allow for an additional levy capacity of $16,500, which is an increase over last year, by the way, which was more like $4,000. So we're moving in the right direction. Inflation, just as a note, the 12-month CPI as of July 31st is 2.7%. That number has kind of fluctuated between 2.3 and 3% in this past year. In terms of wages and benefits, we are still working on union contracts for 2025 through 2028, so that remains unsettled. And the village did switch the state health insurance this last year, so the village did switch from the state plan to this WCA Group Health Trust in 2025, which helped us avoid some steep premium hikes. And the early data so far suggests that the premiums should be stable, so we're seeing some good or some positive sort of claim data that should help our quotes. So we should be getting quotes hopefully, we're hoping for September, if not October, from our health provider. We updated the capital projects in the spring, or the capital plans in the spring, so we have some initial numbers on what our capital projects are identified in 2026. We will go through those again just to make sure no changes. There may be some minor tweaks, I guess. After we adopt the budget, we will then update the financial management plan as we did last year. That's our 10-year financial plan, so we could do that again in December. In terms of library funding, Director Van Klooster is always on top of things. He's already kind of had some initial budget numbers together. We're expecting a request from the library board to request a levy increase to help offset declining state aid. And so he did bring that to my attention early in this process. And so that's something we'll have to review and account for. The state shared revenue amount is projected to increase by 3.4%, so by an additional $20,000. And then we'll be doing some work this year to right-size our event budgets based on some of the changes that we've had and some of the staffing, some of the policy changes. And so we should be able to see some decreases in our budget, some savings for our 2026 budget that will also be reflected in our year-end 2025 actuals. So is it a little bit of a different approach this year, something we're trying within our departments. I've asked each department head to put together both calling a min or minimum budget and then a recommended budget. So the min budget can be the total non-personnel expenses must be equal to or less than last year's non-personnel expenses or the 2025 budget. And so that's just kind of putting together a bit of a challenge of, all right, if we had to be at a 0% or less increase, what changes would you be, what changes would we make, or what recommendations would you have? Then the recommended 2026 budget is then what the department head believes will be necessary to maintain current service levels. And this may be the same as the minimum budget if they agree with, that being the right way forward, or it may be slightly different. So that's a different approach. We're trying to bring forth a couple of different options and to kind of think about how we can try to be as, efficient as possible, knowing that we have just about the $16,500 in new levy to work with. So looking ahead to our budget calendar, so the recommended budget, last year I presented it on, I think it was October 21st, or October 20th, which is when the second meeting landed. This year, the second meeting in October is the 21st, and so in an effort to kind of get the recommended budget in front of everybody a little bit sooner, we're targeting the October 7th meeting for me to do that, present that recommended budget. And then in your packet, I have some proposed budget workshop dates, and Trustee Unger did point out that both of those dates fall on meeting nights of other committees, so I would suggest we look at some of the other options that are laid out here. So I have those listed: October 16th, 23rd, October 30th, November 3rd, November 5th, November 6th, and then one date I wanted to actually X off that list is November 5th, if possible. So that leaves us the 16th, 23rd, 30th, November 3rd, or November 6th. And so I guess if you guys have your calendars handy, any of those dates that do not work. And I guess keeping in mind that then we'd be aiming for the budget adoption and public hearing on November 18th.
I can make all dates. It's the budget.
Anytime, any day, Ron will be there. So any of those dates not work?
Yeah, October 30th, that's Donna's birthday.
Oh, you want to celebrate it with the budget workshop?
Oh, I'd love to.
More fun than that.
Yep.
Okay, so not October 30th.
It doesn't matter.
He said that.
You'll be among friends.
Yeah.
And you said not
Guys, bring
23rd?
gifts.
Not the 23rd.
Not scheduling that far out yet, so, right now, I'm fine.
So you'll schedule around this then?
Try.
What are you doing?
I said, that's too far out for me to say it, but it seems like it's fine.
Comes every year.
There's nothing on those dates as of now.
Okay, so October 16th seems okay, and November 3rd.
16th.
Yep.
Chief, do you have your calendar? I didn't see you bring it in. It's a big written calendar, sorry.
Don't we usually do it like 2 days back to back?
If it falls that way. It doesn't have to. And sometimes it's maybe nice if we can to have a little bit of a break, because then we can kind of update stuff from the last meeting. So this should be, last year we were really condensed.
Just
We were really condensed in early November, and so they were kind of back to back, and then the budget adoption was the next week, so it was a very compressed process. So this should work out nice then, I think.
I'm sorry, so October 16th, November 3rd, and then which is the other one?
Then the other ones are just at regular board meetings. So October 7th is a regular board meeting night. That's when the initial recommended budget will be presented. We'll have the workshops October 16th, November 3rd, and then we'll have the adoption at November 18th. And if there's a need for an additional workshop night,
He caught my question.
Right.
we will schedule one if we need it. We have a little bit of time to work with.
And November 3rd.
Okay.
Works. Trustee Young?
So do you have a deadline for us to provide our input to, as you indicate on your memo?
So as far as a deadline, it would be most, so yeah, if you have ideas or things we should look into on any of the topics on here, new revenue sources, potential service reductions, service increases or expansions, other directions, it would be most helpful to receive that. I'm trying to find the date that I have as a deadline for the department heads. Was it September 5th, I think? Yeah, September 5th. It'd be most helpful by mid-September, so the 15th.
Okay.
And that way, so our process is department heads submit their budget forms by September 5th. Then we sit down and go through it with them, with Stephanie and with Sarah, and we kind of fine tune some things. And so we're really kind of getting things in a good draft form, certainly by the end of September. So anywhere in the, by the 15th or so will help us to incorporate those ideas and research them a little bit.
And when do we get the draft?
October 7th.
I would like a hard copy.
I was just,
Tell you right now.
Me too.
me too.
Me too.
Yeah, I think we always do, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's because we always ask.
We would have anyways.
Okay.
All right, good?
Yep.
All right, sounds good. Item B, BOT 2585, discussion and necessary action regarding a special event permit request from Exploring Brew Pub for the annual Burn Pit Barbecue Backyard.
All right, Explorium Brew Pub LLC has submitted a special event application for their 5th annual Burn Pit Barbecue Backyard Bash scheduled for Sunday, August 31st, 2025. Contestants will check in at 8 a.m. and begin cooking at 8:30. The competition will take place from noon to 5 p.m. in the Southridge Mall parking lot just west of Explorium Brew Pub. Explorium will sell tickets to attendees to sample the contents of the barbecue, or from the contestants of the barbecue, and guest judges will determine the winner. Explorium will also have their full service of drinks and food during the event. The Public Celebration Committee approved the application at the August 12th, 2025 meeting with no conditions. The village manager, police chief, and myself also have reviewed it and approved it with no conditions.
I'll make a motion to approve the special event request from Exploring Brew Pub for the annual Burn Pit Barbecue Backyard Bash event on August 31st,
I'll
2025.
second it.
All right, any discussion?
One, just comment.
Yep.
I was at it last year. This is an event everybody should attend. It was really great food, real excitement to see all these people attempting to cook out. Some succeeded, some did not. They had nice music up there. It's just really nice that we do a lot of events down here in the village. We're very proud of them, but it's nice to do an event for a long-time business at Southridge, that's also doing events up there, because we all are for Greendale, and that is part of Greendale, so I'm very glad to see that happening.
Yep, I agree.
Trustee Fechner?
Oh, second that. It was really organized event, really fun. Local people, Trustee Unger's husband was cooking up there. And if you stay till the end, it's a pretty big deal, the presenting of the prizes. People win, it's a contest still.
Very cool. All right, roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Affirmative.
Trustee Sal?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zebrowski?
Aye, thank you. Item C, BOT 2586, discussion necessary action regarding a special event permit request from the Greendale Entertainment Association for Save the Music event on September 5th, 2025.
All right. The Greendale Entertainment Association will be hosting a special fundraising event on Friday, September 5th, 2025 at Gazebo Park from 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. This event aims to help the GEA recover from a financial loss occurred from the August 9th flooding in the village, which took place during the Village Days. The proposed event will feature live music, a cookout, a 50-50 raffle. Due to the circumstances surrounding the flooding, the village is considering this event as kind of a makeup day for the GEA. Staff recommends we assist with the bollard placement on Broad Street at no cost for the organization, and this will also ensure public safety during the event. This event did not go before the PCC for approval due to the timing in the anticipated event. However, staff is requesting the village board to approve the event and allow the GEA to recoup some of their losses. The fiscal implications should be around $300 for staff to close and open up the roads for the event. Other than that, GEA will do the rest.
Move to approve the special event permit request from the GEA for Save the Music on September 5th, 2025.
Second.
Second.
Any other discussion?
Can I just
Yeah.
say that it's going to be from 5 until 8:30. There's pre-sales right now on the GEA website. There's links all over Facebook right now to do some pre-orders. And the generous donation from Ray's Butcher Shop, I mean, they're donating all the brats, all the hamburgers and the buns, which is huge benefit. We also have sponsors from the Village CBD and Wellness, the Combs team, and Harbor Village. So we really appreciate the community's support. Talking about on behalf of GEA right now.
Are you doing any other, I know you said Facebook and that, is it going to be posted?
Yep, we're going to be putting an A-frame up by the gazebo
Okay.
and flyers handing out, and if everyone could just spread the word. We took a really big loss at Village Days because of the heat and, of course, the rain. And we, of course, put this on. It cost like $70,000 for everything, for all the bands, even though the band cost $5,000 that night, did not even play, but we still had to pay them. So it was not a good weekend, as everybody knows, for a lot of other people too, for their houses. So I appreciate everybody, but anything you could do to help would be great.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Yes.
Trustee Sal?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Abstain.
President Zebrowski?
Aye. All right, item D, BOT 2587, discussion of necessary action regarding a special event permit request from the Greendale Public Library Foundation for the Who Done It event and fundraiser on October 11th, 2025.
All right, the Greendale Public Library Foundation and Friends of the Library have submitted the special event application for a Whodunit Mystery Night. The event will take place on Saturday, October 11th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Greendale Public Library. This is a ticketed after-hours indoor fundraiser that will feature an interactive library mystery experience with beverages and appetizers provided by the Eleanor Room. Guests can also enjoy a 50-50 raffle, basket raffle, prize drawings, and more. There are only 70 tickets available at $50 each. You can purchase them online or in person at the library's front desk. It is a 21-year or older event because there is alcohol being served. The Public Celebrations Committee approved the application on August 12th, 2025, with no conditions. The village manager, police chief, and myself have also reviewed it and approved it with no conditions.
Trustee Unger?
Just one additional comment on that. The $50 admission includes free appetizers, 2 free drink tickets, and a free raffle ticket.
I will
I'll
move
move.
to approve the special event permit request from the Greendale Public Library Foundation for the Whodunit event and fundraiser on October 11th, 2025.
Second the motion?
Any other discussion?
I now have another question. So we have Greendale Friends, the library, now we have Greendale Public Library Foundation.
It's, yeah, it's all the same organization.
Okay.
Jason should probably abstain as just on the perception, or just because you're providing the food or drink, you don't want the perception of, but also because he's a suspect in the whodunit. So
So who did do it?
Find out.
I don't know.
Don't ruin it now.
Oh,
He did it.
Yeah.
I don't have to go, I don't have to go now. He did it.
Roll call.
Thanks, Matt.
Trustee Barbian?
aye.
Trustee Sel?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFell? Trustee Alette?
I,
President Zabrowski?
Aye.
no,
Shit, sorry.
abstain.
No one heard that.
We don't have a bleep button on our YouTube.
Abstain.
Abstain. Sorry,
Sustain?
abstain.
Abstain.
All right, next. Item E, BOT 2588, discussion necessary action for temporary Class B license application from the Greendale Entertainment Association for Save the Music Gazebo concert on September 5th, 2025.
I'll move to approve the temporary Class B fermented malt beverage from, move to approve the temporary Class B fermented malt beverage license, what should we say? From the,
Should say license.
okay, from the Greendale Entertainment Association for the Save the Music Gazebo concert on September 5th, 2025.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sel?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFell?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Abstain.
President Zabrowski?
Aye. Item F, BOT 2589, discussion and necessary action for extension of premise application from Greendale Panther Pub for Run the Greendale Parks and Trails event on August 31st, 2025.
I'll move to approve the temporary extension of premises application from Greendale Panther Pub for the Run 4 Trails and Parks event by the Greendale Trail Association on August 31st, 2025.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
I have a couple. Yep. So Jeff is here. Remember, they're serving alcohol for the event?
We're not serving alcohol, we're not giving alcohol, it's all like Panther Pub.
So they're just, that's where
We're
the
closing up the street right next to them.
where the run starts and the walk starts?
Yeah, because last year, we had people sitting in the street, we had people in the street, cars were going by, and it was dangerous, so we're closing off that street.
Okay, and they're doing some of their own thing in coordination with your event?
Yeah, they're gonna serve food just like they do. Anybody wants food during lunch, they want beer, they get beer, soda, whatever. There's also gonna be a sign on each side of it that says no alcohol past this one. No different than any other event.
So it's really part of the event though, right? I'm just asking because unless he's running his own event, the extension of premise is for the run walk event.
I think it's for Panther Pub.
It is. Panther Pub.
It's Panther Pub that's getting extended,
It's
right?
safety for people, for the event, but Panther Pub is doing the event.
Go ahead.
Okay, so as a part of the Trail Association's event, Panther Pub is doing an extension of premise, which is, was in the amended, application for the trail that was approved last month,
Yeah.
where it was talking about, free water, or I think it's free water and then beer and soda.
There's one free beer or soda after the event.
So that's what I'm saying. His extension of premise is part of the event.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to clarify.
Yeah.
Because I think when we approved at the PCC, I think it got amended after that.
Yeah, so the first time it was not, and then this last one that was, after it was amended, did include it.
And I believe the reason also is because they just have a small area, fenced-in area, and people want to go to the sidewalk because there's so many people, and that's the only reason they have to get an extension, because they're going to go on the road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is great for them. It's a
Yes.
great thing, but
Good deal.
My question, Rod, is how are the streets being blocked off for this?
If I can remember correctly, it's going to be on Parking Street, so on the south side of Panther Pub, kind of by your loop there, and then, here, Sarah's got it up. There you go. So that's the highlighted portion on the bottom there is Panther Pub, and then the highlighted portion above is where it was approved for the road closure.
Okay.
And this is a Sunday, so.
That little yellow, that's the parking street?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Sarah. And Rod?
Yeah.
All right. Did I do a roll call? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Peckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye, thanks. Item GBOT 2590, discussion necessary action for an extension of premise application from Eleanor Room for the Whodunit event at the Greendale Public Library on October 11th, 2025.
Move to approve the temporary extension of premises application from the Eleanor Room for the Whodunit Library event on October 11th, 2025.
I'll
Second.
that.
All right, any discussion?
Thanks for doing that.
Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Peckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Abstain.
All
Ooh,
right.
you got it right.
All right, item HBOT 2591, discussion necessary action regarding a review of a draft community survey.
All right, so in your packet are some draft questions for a community survey. We last did one in August 2022, and this is a community-wide, very broad survey covering a range of issues relating to village services and amenities. And the results from the survey serve as a valuable guide for the board and staff as we consider future decisions. Last time, the survey was available online, and there are also hard copies available at the Village Hall and at the Community Learning Center. And it was prominently promoted throughout the newsletter and other communication channels. We received 802 responses, which was nearly 14% of households, which is considered a strong participation rate for this type of survey. So my recommendation is to do a similar survey every 3 years or so, just to kind of gauge, whether there are any trends, whether there's any areas that maybe improved or areas that took a step the other way. And then also to have the ability to ask some more timely questions that, are on our minds. And so in your packet is a draft that has mostly the same questions, because again, we're trying to compare attitudes and things. But I did note some minor changes, or thought maybe were improvements to some of those original questions, as well as a few new questions or kind of replacement reworded questions that may be more timely or helpful for us. And the recently formed Daffodil Park Steering Committee, Planning Committee also wanted to was hoping to use this opportunity to ask a few questions very specific to the park, and so those are incorporated in this draft as well. And so I was just going to do a quick overview of the questions that were added or changed. So again, question 7 relates specifically to Daffodil Park and the types of potential improvements. So this is a list that committee put together and would like some input on. Question 8 is a more specific question relating to playground, whether it should be a playground that's the one done in 2027, if it should be continue to targeted ages, younger children versus up to 12. Slightly reworded question 9 a little bit on the Southridge Mall to kind of give some more information or some updates that, on the former Boston store is in the process of redevelopment, as well as we're in the process of a master plan for the Southridge area, so just to kind of give that contextual information. Question 10 is kind of replacing a question that we had last time about service consolidation, and there's an additional question about referendums. This is kind of in one question that says, due to state levy limits, the village cannot adjust property taxes for operations in a way that keeps pace with rising costs. As a result, we continue to evaluate options to maintain service levels and control costs. Please indicate your level of support for each of the following general strategies. And so it goes through a list of consolidation of services with surrounding municipalities, referendum to increase property taxes to maintain service levels, reductions in village services, creating a local wheel tax such as $30 per vehicle to help fund road maintenance, and then increased user fees for specific services. I'll just quickly comment on the other questions and then we can go, interested in your thoughts. Question 11 gets at our 10-year roads program. I know we always hear a lot of feedback on road maintenance. Are we doing enough? Does it cost enough? Cost too much? So question 11 lays out, we have a 10-year plan. We budget an annual investment of about $3.1 million. If we proceed with that plan, it will cost an average increase per year, $54 more each year in order to carry out this plan. And do you feel like this level of investment is about right? If this is too little of an investment or too much? And so what we're trying to get at is some people believe we don't do enough to keep up with roads. And so it's obviously tied to cost. So do you feel like there should be more of a cost and more of an investment to homeowners on doing more roads? Question 12 is relating to events. So it talks about how we've made some changes. Event organizers are responsible for reimbursing more of the costs of village services to put on events. And currently the annual village expense budget is approximately $65,500 per year. Do you feel like this level of investment is about right for events? Too little, too much? And questions 13 and 14 get to the recycling center. So we're just trying to get some more feedback. And I think we had some discussion maybe by email. Trustee Feckmeyer brought this up maybe a couple months ago about getting some input on when people prefer to see the recycling center open. If you remember from our last board meeting, the auditor talked about us having a deficit. We continue to have a deficit in our recycling budget. And we're going to have to probably increase recycling fees next year if we're going to keep the same schedule. So we're trying to get at when do people prefer to see it open, and maybe that information will help us decide, do we need to look at doing a tweak to the schedule. So those cover the main changes compared to the 2022, so definitely interested in your guys' thoughts.
Trustee Young.
So I'll just start from at page 1, some suggestions. So on page 1, where you have the narrative right at the beginning, I suggest you say, we're asking Greendale residents to share their thoughts, adding the word Greendale, especially if you're going to put this on a tablet in the library. Anyone could plop down. I just don't want someone to sit down and start taking a survey. Because we have a lot of people who visit the library who don't live in Greendale, so.
And if I could just, that's a good point, and I did not mention, but last time we allowed, we took hard copies of the survey, which was a very large job to enter those because there's a lot of open-ended questions. It's a fairly long survey, so it took days of staff to input because we received, I forget how many, 45% of the submissions were hard copies. So it was a big administrative burden to input all those. So this time, our recommendation is we would use some of our election laptops, set them up here, and the residents can enter them in on that laptop there. A staff member can help them enter it if they're not comfortable using the computer, but that will save a lot of time on that. So that's a good point on the use of the laptop.
To that point, I think you are going to miss a portion of our residents. They're going to be misrepresented. I think there are people who are going to ask for a hard copy yet. So I would hope, maybe the CLC staff can direct them to the tablet, but not everyone's going to be comfortable. So can you have some hard copies available? I think you should.
Yes. So I think by having the tablets, by having the laptops there, most people will say, oh yeah, I'm comfortable doing that. But
Right.
to your point, if they're, to have the hard copies available, certainly.
Maybe, I think that would be good.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you, and.
Quick ask, the hard copies, are they gonna be just at the library, or are you gonna put them at the Welcome Center by any chance, that people could stop there and get them, pick them up, versus the library if they decide to go hard copy? Something to think about?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Under number 6, I'm wondering if you want to remove Scout Lake or behind Scout Lake, put county-owned.
Yep.
Either or.
It's a good point. And that question is not specific to village services, so, I mean, we definitely wouldn't want that on the village services, but this is trying to get an idea of what things in the community, regardless of who owns it, do you use, and so. I think
Maybe
adding-
put county-owned.
Yep, county owned.
Because I don't think everyone realizes that. On number 8, it talks about the park, the new playground equipment at Daffodil Park. It says, and it is scheduled to be replaced in 2027 if approved by the village board. I think the village board will still want to talk about that. I don't want people thinking, oh, we're getting a brand-new playground, or we're getting all this. I think it's up to the board, I believe, on whether or not park improvements take place. So that's why I'm suggesting that.
Yeah, or I would just, you could change scheduled to planned. Scheduled makes it sound more locked in. Planned is, it's on our plan.
Tentatively, always is helpful.
Tentatively. That's what I
Yeah.
put.
And these are just my thoughts. I don't know how anyone else feels, but, so number 10, under reductions in village services, you have police, fire, EMS, public works. Did you want to add inspection to that?
Yeah.
If it, I'm thinking the code enforcement program, so if it were necessary to make reductions. Again, that's just a suggestion. And then under increased user fees for specific services, can you throw in a couple examples? Are you talking about the rental of the community center pavilion? Are you talking about a permit for putting in an air conditioner? What are you talking about there?
Yeah, it's.
Or is it everything on that fee schedule?
It's everything on the fee schedule. Is it potential new fees?
Could you say permit? I mean, something to give an example of what that might mean?
Yeah, I think we could be as specific as permit fees, rental fees.
Permit/rental, just a couple ideas
Yeah.
might be helpful
And,
for people to understand.
Yeah, like the wheel tax is an example of a user fee, but I figured, all right, we have a very specific example. There's not a lot of good specific examples of new fees that would work. So I think, to your point, we can, for that more general strategy, user fees, parentheses, permit fees, rental fees. I don't know if there's any others that come to mind, but yeah, we can add that.
And I'm talking about increased user fees for specific services. That's the category I was talking about. Okay. So on the refuse and recycling center questions, I think it would be helpful to put the current times. You're asking the residents, do you want one weekday and one Saturday? Could you put in that question somewhere? Current weekday hours are 7 to 3. One weekday, I might say, yeah, one weekday, it's open. Is it going to be open till 5? I mean, it depends on the hours.
Yeah.
In order to answer that question, you need to know the hours, I think,
Yeah.
for number 14.
And that's where, we could get into a whole, it could be a big matrix type of question. And there could be a ton of different options on the different time. That's why, for that one, I try to draft it as, please assume the hours would align with times most preferable to the community. I know it's very vague.
Well, it's just something to think about.
And I'm also assuming it would, like, Saturday, if it was one day a week, if it was open one day a week, it would be Saturday, right?
Right.
So you'd start with that. Like, Saturday only, 1 weekday plus Saturday, 2 weekdays plus Saturday, 3 weekdays. So,
So to me, a weekday would be 7 to 5 or 8 to 5. If you're only going to offer one weekday, I would assume as a resident that it would be open till at least 5.
yeah, and so that's where, like, the question before, it says what times you prefer. So if we had a lot of weekday midday,
Okay.
then we would say, all right, well, Most people would like to see 2 weekdays and a Saturday, most people like to see midday, so we have to make sure that's covered in there.
You
Yeah,
can leave it as is, but, as I'm reading this, I'm reading it as a resident, not as a board member who is more on top of knowing the hours.
yeah, it's a great point to put it, part of this survey too is to provide information, so like the Southbridge question, or like the events, or the roads, like, here's our situation, what do you think? So, yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense to put the times in.
If you can. And then the footnote on the very bottom of the last page, if we're going to do hard copies, and it sounds like you're possibly open to that, then I guess you could leave that in. But if you're against the hard copies, then that would go out.
Yeah, so I'm for the hard copies with the caveat that it's not gonna be on a brochure rack, come and take them. It's gonna be, you're gonna take our survey at the computer, maybe with a note next to it, or the clerk at the library or at the village hall will say, we also have an available hard copy if it appears that they would prefer that. So, yeah, I'm all for it.
All right, trustee Marvin.
Two questions I have. Very good points, Elaine. I talked about the hard copy as we did last survey. 45% of our last survey was hard copy. There's a reason for that. And I know I can speak for a couple of my neighbors. I can speak for when my parents were alive. They don't have computers, and a tablet is not going to be up there. If we want to get results out of this, I believe we need to provide hard copies. You're just going to have these people that, I can learn a tablet. If they haven't learned a tablet now and they're in their 70s, 80s, they don't want to do it now. And they're just not going to answer it. And I think that's going to skew all the results that come in, because you're just going to have the people who are comfortable with PCs. If it's a cost-effective thing, I think we have to find the money for the input, and I'm wondering could we not see if somebody from the high school that's taking data entry or something like that could come and do the data entry for us and get some credit for that, to maybe approach the school board to see if they can, we're always talking about working something with the schools to do it that way. I think that if we're going to get the production out of this survey, you have to recognize that there's a reason that 45% did a hard copy last time. Those people just won't show up. And then you're going to go, well, the people want this, and we need to do this, when it's not representative of the people. And I know why you're doing it, but I'm just saying that's the way it is out there. So I think it should be provided in racks like last time. The other thing I would like to ask, and I know this from talking to many, many people after the last survey, I think there should be something at the bottom that when you ask for these things, wish lists, they need to understand that this will impact your tax base. In the last survey, when I talked to a lot of people, I'm not picking on this particular topic, but I talked to some people, I really want a splash pad out at community center. I said, well, they're very, very expensive, and they have yearly maintenance costs, and they tend to add extra work to our DPW, and your taxes will go up. Then I wouldn't have wanted it. I wouldn't have put that on there. I don't think many people, or a certain segment, understand that when they do this wish list, I want this. Yes, that'd be great if we had this. Wouldn't it be great if we had a thing over here? They don't understand that has to be paid for. And then it comes back to us that, we're reading the survey. Everybody wants us to put a dome over Greendale, because it'd be just great, because then we can have events all year round. And they won't associate the fact that costs some money. And I just think if you put something at the bottom that recognizes when you're answering these questions, that your taxes are going to be impacted. Because you think most people would understand that, but they don't. And I think we saw that when we had the master plan up at the safety center. When you heard the questions that came from that group, appreciate everyone that showed up there. But Southridge is a revenue center. We want money to come in out of that. That's the whole idea of the master plan. And you had people that had ideas, let's have a painting room. what are you gonna charge, like $500 a kid for an hour? I mean, you have to understand that money has to come from somewhere, and we're going into a tight budget. So I just ask that we consider putting something at the bottom. I think it would help people.
And I think to that point, so I think the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan had a lot of was specific about new uses and things. This survey doesn't have a lot of that, except for, I think on that Daffodil Park question, what improvements would you like to see? So that, I think, is the only question that really asks, what new things would you like to see? And so we could have a very specific question, maybe after that, or in, an open-ended, like, or maybe somewhere in the question, understanding that it would lead to increased costs, what would you like to see, if any? Is that what you're thinking? Just kind of that sort of statement?
Well, I was thinking that one, yes, but also I'm talking about where you're questioning, I don't remember what page it's on, but considering a wheel tax, okay? Now granted, the word tax is in there, so people should be able to figure that out. But do they understand that, oh yeah, we can do this and it'll pay for our roads? Do they understand what's really going to be the impact on that? I don't think they will. I know many people, not picking on the G section, I lived there most of my life, but they're all geriatric, they don't pick up on a lot of things. People around me, they don't.
Wow.
I'm just saying, they're gonna.
I'm not.
Yeah, Rachel's in the G section.
I'm in the G section. My parents were but they aren't gonna pick up on a lot of that stuff. And they go, oh, wheel tech, yeah, we need more roads. We'll just go and do this. And I just think that I really want, if we're gonna spend the time on this survey, we want to get everything out of it. And that's why there's two things I brought up. And I picked the G section because I live there, so I can pick on myself, so.
Trustee McFall.
Ron, I just want to let you know that the two questions about the playground was kind of the committee, the Daffodil Park Committee, came to Mike and asked him that, it kind of gives us direction on what our purpose of our committee is. And that was part of the reason that we asked, this would be a good time to as long as there was a survey going out, that maybe throw a couple questions in there and just feel out the public on what they would really like in that park. And there again, it's just basically giving us a base for our committee to kind of navigate.
Well, I think they're great questions.
So,
I have no problem with the question being made.
yeah.
In fact, I think it should be.
Because there's some people that would love to make that a destination, playground, and then there's other people that said, just leave it as a family playground there. And again, biggest word that came out of all of our mouths were parking. So, we can't do that to the
No,
store.
I like the question.
That's the
Yeah.
reason for those two questions, so.
Are you okay with adding, to Trustee Barbian's point, something in there to say, understanding that any improvements would come with the cost, taxpayers? Which of these improvements would you be in favor of? So just kind of adding that disclaimer, like, this would be a cost for the village.
No, because we're just trying to grab some ideas on, we're just trying to get some direction on that playground. I mean, again, I could see saying that it is planned versus scheduled. I like that, because scheduled means that we're doing it. Planned is, it's all up in the air to see what our budget is in the future. So I don't know. No, I would just leave it as the two questions we have and go from there and just see what it is. So, my opinion. Unless you feel different, go ahead.
I could see it in the question 7 because there's a list of things like new stuff. And I think to Trustee Barbian's point, there's a cost to everything. So just to have that on your mind as you go through this, and maybe then they prioritize things a little bit more instead of just saying, yep, cool, like that.
Okay.
I think to your point on the playground, just changing it to planned, I don't think we need to get into, that part of it. But yeah, I do think it's a nice point for that question 7 with that list of things.
Okay.
You're okay with it?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. Trustee McNamara.
And I do agree with that for question 7, because I think it will change people's, what they choose. I like the way it's written. Otherwise, it's pretty cut and dry, simple question. Pick your answers. I just had a couple possible suggestions. For the number 3, rate to the activities, do you want to add gazebo concerts? Nosy me would kind of like to know. People, that's a thing for them. And,
So we have one for community events, and we could add gazebo concerts, but there's also many other events. So we could we could list out every single event and then, add another page.
yeah, and I
but-
know, that's donated by GEA and, the rec department does the Sundays, but, since the rec department's been cutting back, might be good to get feedback on.
So gazebo concerts Saturday and Sunday? You're talking about, do people like both days?
Yeah, I mean, you could, because they're quite different. And there wasn't many on Sundays this year.
Okay, so the distinction would be community events is events with other festivities. This is specific to gazebo concerts.
Yeah, because I think people think about events as like Dickens, Village Days, 4th of July, with
And the
Roll
farmer's
call.
market's on there. Yeah.
farmers markets on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to do it just by suggestion, but,
Yeah.
and then, number 16, what type of residence do you live in? This might be me being nosy again. Do you want to add original? Because then the next question would be interesting. If they live in original, do they own or rent?
Yes,
Tie in.
so let me ask you this. Do sections A, B, C, are those only originals in those, not C, right? Okay,
And D, either D expands.
okay. Yeah.
B2, A is the only one really that's only originals.
So, how could we add that to which question? Or is it a separate question?
It could be a separate question.
Yeah, but the
Do
next
you
one
live in
says,
a-
do you rent? So that would tell you that if you're renting, if you're in a single-family home, and then the next question would be, do you own or rent? So you rent. So if you own or an agreement original, you rent, it would be answered in those two questions.
Yeah.
No, because there's a single down the street for me that's for rent right now, and it's not a Greendale original. There's homes for rent that aren't originals.
I think, so your point is that if we had a separate question that said, do you live in a Greendale original, then that would give us the ability to review answers from specifically just from people who live in a Greendale original. So we could get an idea what percentage owns versus rents, what percentage, how they feel about some other things.
Yeah, and it is a little different, I think, living in the village center in the originals. You maybe have a different thought process because you're a little more mobile, walking and things.
Okay.
Trustee Lott?
I was just confused where, I never thought of the hose tower rental, because you have to pay for that's a municipal service. Is it? I mean, I don't know if that would fall under there. Because you have to pay, to use it. I don't know. I thought
Number
that,
is that on?
that was under,
It's an amenity, maybe.
5.
5, so that one kind of gets at how satisfied are you? Maybe the question should be following municipal services and amenities, but
Yeah.
it's getting at satisfaction. So how satisfied are you with the host tower? And so we'd be interested to know what the general, feedback is on that.
Okay.
So maybe it's just a question then, how it's worded?
It may be, right. Just that I never thought of that as a municipal service. I would just think it would be,
It's in a way a service. We're making a facility available to rent.
and DPW.
I mean, it's not like a,
Yeah.
it's not.
Then I just also wanted to say, I think it is important to have the paper copies too, and the NHS kids, they have to have service hours, the Honor Society, and they are always looking for something to do. I think that'd be a great project. They could put that on their resume. I think that is really smart, instead of wasting the time for the village staff.
And we might have somebody on light duty still, police department, I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
Tiki?
chief?
They'd be full of
Rumor.
drool.
Okay, that's an
Trustee
idea.
Fickmeyer, or, Whitmore, sorry.
Mike, can you answer the number 21 for me?
Can I answer?
How many children by age group live in your household? Can you answer that for me?
How many children by age group live in your household? For me?
No.
Can I answer that for you?
Because we no longer have children living in our house, and at 15 years and over, I don't know. Am I nitpicking on this one?
Well, you wouldn't enter anything. This is where you put down a number. So, for instance, I think the electronic version, these are all going to be set at zeros, and then you could pick with the drop down, you could change that number from 0 to something else.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, perfect. All right. Thank you.
Trustee Unger?
So for number 12, about the events, it says the expenses are $65,500. Is that just January to today in 2025? Where did that number come from?
Stephanie gave it to me.
Good answer.
So I took 2025 year-to-date, so that's pretty much through Village Days, and then I added tree lighting, projected farmers market with Ashley, and tickets.
Okay. And overall, I think the survey is really well done. It's great, and I really like that you have in here, explaining the operations, like question 10 is, really good, and 11, 12, it's done really well. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect no matter what. It just gives us a good of a flavor as I think we can get.
Right.
For example, reductions in village services. I don't want to list out specific services because then you don't know how much reduction, how much savings, it's not worthwhile, but just the general concept, the general strategies of these things, just would help us in some things going forward.
I do want to say also, it's a really good survey, so I am really happy with it. Like I say, just having a couple of caveats, but I do think it's productive. I think it's important for us to get out in the village views that this is coming, and I don't know when it's print next or whatever, but I think there should be some spot in there, hey, in October, please look for a survey to fill out, or something.
So what we did last time is we had it very prominently in the village views because that already goes to every household. So we're going to do that and aim to get that out in early September.
Okay.
It's going to be very prominent, top center, with the QR code, with instructions where to get it. And then we'll have it closed on October 15th. So we'll probably have maybe 5 to 6 week, open.
Okay, I just want to make sure it's in the village views.
So, given that timeline, do we want to approve it tonight and just give you the leeway to make the changes that you see fit, or?
I'm comfortable with, I noted everything down. These are all relatively minor tweaks and stuff, so very comfortable with that, yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So, my one comment real quick was I felt like it was long, but then when you reread it, it's like, but it all seems pretty valid. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of stuff that you can take out. I thought taking out Boston Store because we've done the thing up at the police station, but it's people that couldn't make that get there. So I don't know. I think it's all stuff that's important. So that's my only comment. I'll make a motion to approve the community survey questions and survey process as presented, with Manager Hawes making the tweaks that were suggested by the board at his discretion.
Second the motion.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbian?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Fleckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Zabrowski?
Aye, thanks. All right, any officer reports this evening?
I just want to note, so tomorrow we have a special village board meeting at 5 o'clock.
Yep.
And then, just to go off of what Trustee McFall commented on, very appreciative of our Public Works Department jumping into action with all the curbside collections, with the extra recycling hours. Didn't hear a complaint. Everybody stepped forward, stepped up to do it. So it was awesome to see and awesome to continue to see, as well as pretty much every department is kind of touched by this.
Yeah.
Kenton is the emergency contact, There's a whole lot of bureaucratic stuff going on behind the scenes between the state and FEMA and the county. The county's continuously emailing, asking for information, so it's coming through Kenton, it's going through our department head team. Ashley's been amazing at filling in a lot of the different gaps and helping with the communications. So it's been a really team effort. It's a lot of things that you see happening with DPW, with the response by the fire department, with the disabled vehicles, with the police department, but it's also a lot of behind the scenes stuff that's happening too. So, we feel very bad that it happened, and hopefully, knock on wood, not again, but we have a really good team to respond to these types of things.
Absolutely. Thanks. All right, citizens' comments, persons wishing to address the board are asked to state their name and address for residency of record and limit their comments to one time, limit their comments to 3 minutes or 5 minutes if representing a group of persons. Citizens' comments shall be limited to a period not to exceed 15 minutes. Public comments shall be addressed to the village board as a body. Any questions or comments directed to any individual trustee or staff person will be deemed out of order. Please note the village board can only discuss matters listed on the agenda. Obey.
Jeff Birmingham, 5601 Bramble Court. I want to talk about the survey. I don't think it should have been voted on tonight. I don't see the survey in front of me, but I think it was number 12, about $65,000 for organizations that paid, the village paid for their organizations. Certain organizations paid nothing. If they had village days, or if they had 4th of July, they paid nothing. Other organizations paid 100%. So it sounds like that all organizations are costing the village $65,000. That is not correct. There's other things, there's mention that, I can't mention names on the board, but there was mention that an organization gave an input on it. I think all organizations should give an input on this. It shouldn't be just the board. They should have an input on the survey. And the public should have an input on this, what the survey is going to be. I think there should be more people knowing, just that question alone. I'm not looking at the whole thing, but just that question alone, at $65,000. We paid $600 for our organization for one day. We paid for a street being closed $100 automatically. Actually, the village made money off of us than they actually paid. So I just don't believe that should be put that way. And there's probably other questions that I'm not looking at that I would like to have an input on. Thank you.
Put together a survey about the survey.
Hello, Karen Birmingham, 5711 Carnation Court. This has to do with the survey also. Maybe the hard copies, wherever they're asked, or different locations, ask for ID. You were talking about maybe too many people getting them or multiple copies, maybe asking for ID from the Greendale resident for that. And Ron's idea of having at the bottom of the survey, that this could impact, your taxes or whatever, there could be a cost. Maybe that be at the beginning of the survey, because if they start doing the survey and then all of a sudden at the end of it, this might be, maybe at the beginning of the survey when they first read it. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, I close it. Closed session, the board shall convene in closed session pursuant to section 19851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation of performance, evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, specifically discuss the 2024-25 staff evals and compensation. B, the board shall convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute Section 19851E to deliberate or negotiate the purchasing of public properties, investing in public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically discuss redevelopment of the property at 6190 West Loomis Road. The board will not return to open session to act on matters discussed.
Move to go into closed session?
I will second that. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Barbie?
Aye.
Trustee Sell?
Aye.
Trustee Unger?
Aye.
Trustee Beckmeyer?
Aye.
Trustee McFall?
Aye.
Trustee Alette?
Aye.
President Sabrowski?
Aye.